All right, not another wild and crazy one, and before I can start it, I got to do a little B&E. It's breaking and entering, if you didn't know.
Whatever, I do what I want.
You know he's only doing YouTube for free stuff and money, right?
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
No, I'm not. I'm doing it because I'm an attention whore. All right, so I happen to be driving through the local area here.
Hi, this is Rachel from Dealer Services. Your file just came across my desk. And
shut up! Okay.
Spam calls. So I'm driving through this area and I noticed that there's this overgrown yard right by a school. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of it. Let's take a look at it. Boy, I picked a wild one today.
That is one big pile of shit.
And now this one is by one of our local schools. I'm gonna come cut it. This is absolutely, as all my other videos, absolutely 100% free. I do make a video, and from those videos I do make an income that allows me to continue doing this type of work. So in today's video of this old crack house, well, I guess we could also easily be playing a game of, in today's game of will I be sued for trespassing to cut this random ugly lawn. Now, while I'm saying that, I might as well tell you, as you can see, I walked through a gate, so I'm not too worried about it, but this gate over here does have a lock on it. Now, I'm not going to cut the lock, but what I am going to do, and it's a good tip for other lawn guys, if they need it, you know, they got to have access to a yard because of the gate. That gate's too small to fit my mower in, I think, so I'll probably have to bring my mower through this gate, and in which case what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this hinge and I'm going to loosen that hinge and pull it up. This will open up and then I'll have access to the yard. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the yard up here. It's not too bad, but I have seen things that are of noteworthy concern. One is how high this edge on the sidewalk is, so I got to be careful not to hit my machines. But I noticed there's a bunch of big rocks. I mean, like, that's a big rock sticking up 6 or 8 inches above where I'll be cutting, and I'll definitely have to keep that in mind when I'm cutting the lawn so I don't destroy a spindle. There are a few other things to be concerned about on this property. There is a lot of poison ivy.
No! No!
A lot. You know, right there, it's all over. So I will have to have some kind of caution when I'm in that area. Oftentimes the best precaution to that situation is just to be aware of what it looks like. So right here's an example of poison ivy growing up through the fence, and I'm sure it's all down that fence line and in through there. So we'll have to be somewhat cautious. Because of that, I will not be cutting anything growing up the fence. If I don't cut it, just assume it is poison ivy. There's a lot of it on this property. Now this right here, this type of grass, this is the grass that you've seen in other yards that I've cut that gets real high, head high, and sometimes up to roof line level. That's Johnson grass. And we've got a mix between that and just native weeds inside the lawn. I did see a lot more poison ivy in the turf areas. You know, it's not just in fence lines that you'll see poison ivy, although that's the common area because that's the area that's not as frequently touched. So if someone doesn't have a weed eater, that's oftentimes where you see it. But all of this in here, this is the real dark green foliage, is poison ivy. So when I mow back here, I'll be mowing wearing a face mask, because that dust can blow up out from underneath the mower and you get the particles in the air and then you breathe it in. So that's going to be miserable, but it's just a small portion of lawn. It kind of is what it is. And then after I'm done with this property, I'm going to go home and I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to use Dawn dish soap to wash off. That way I make sure there's no oil on my skin anywhere. and I'll be safe and I won't have the itch for a few weeks. But currently I'm fighting it's a fungal infection inside my ear, probably from this type of work. I've gotten it every year for the last 3 or 4 years, and I just, you know, assumed it was from the dust. I went to a different doctor this year. She said it's a fungal infection. So I'm taking an antibiotic because it's swollen in this ear, and I cannot hear out of this ear currently. It sounds like I'm underwater, but it's very, very muffled. And then my other ear is infected as well, and so I'm taking prednisone. And early this morning, I got a prednisone stuck in my throat. Ugh. Worst taste ever, man. It started making me puke and stuff. So, oh, here's another big rock sticking up. I don't know what's going on. That was pretty close to where it was over there. Maybe it was some kind of flower bed at one point in time or something. Could just be that was a natural stone that was here. So, first things first, let's do a little breaking and entering. I don't think it's breaking and entering. By the way, it's very obvious that it's not lived in. That's the gas meter, and there is no meter there, so it's just the gas lines. It looks like they're doing maybe some remodeling stuff inside. Now let me show you this other side of the garage real fast before I start, because it is wild. I don't know what type of trees these are. I think they're a type of, I don't know. I don't want to tell you because I don't know. If you know what type of tree this is, let me know. I'm always interested in learning. I see this all the time. It's very, very fast growing. I've heard people call it fig, but you know, I mean, I have no idea. So I know I have a lot of people in here that are very experienced in botany and know the plants very well. So if you know, let me know. The more you know, the more you know. To me, it's weed tree. Weeds, bidets, Johnson grass, bidets. Can't even hardly see the shed. And like I said, the city's over there. I don't know why they're slacking. The school's right there. You figured somebody would have reported this. But today, I'm gonna be cleaning it up. And it's about noon. It's hot, humid, nasty. And I imagine by the time I'm done, people will be picking their kids up for school. But traffic's gonna be crazy over here. Hopefully I finish before that. Otherwise I'll be sitting in the truck waiting until all these kids are out of school. There is a gate unlocked here. It's very clear it's unlocked. But I can't get in through this way. And there's some damage there. Just take note, that wasn't me. But I would have to push mow this yard if I went through this gate. So I'm actually going to take the gate off the hinges over here, and when I'm done I'll put it back on. Now we can just lift up, pull out, and now I have access. All right, the first thing I'm going to do on this property is I'm going to go ahead and cut the yard. I'm going to use the mower, and then I'm going to weed eat. And the reason being is, well, it's not so tall that I'm super worried about hitting something, but I know I'm going to have to weed eat more than once. I'm probably going to have to mow more than once, so I'm going to mow it, weed eat, mow it again if I have to, which I'm sure I will. So that's where we're at. Let's get to it. Gross. There's a pee bottle on every job, and I just happened to hit this one. Yummy.
Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time to the channel and you have not subscribed, if you would subscribe, that would really go a long ways to helping us out. Also, I'd like to let you know that there's an alternative version to this same video that you're watching with very little talking, just like the rest of my videos. And you can find those on my other channel. It's called The Boring Channel. Okay, and on this channel I do commentary generally to help out my viewers or to feed a little light on the situation, or you know, just share motivational whatever's going on in my life, that kind of stuff. All right, So the first thing that I would like to talk about in this video is there is somebody stealing my content. It is on Facebook, and they are tricking people into buying monthly subscriptions. So I'd like to let you know that all of my content is 100% free, either on here, the Boring channel, or on Facebook under Lawn Care Juggernaut. We also have TikTok with Lawn Care Juggernaut as well. But nowhere there will you see any support me by paying me here or doing any of that stuff, okay? If I do start something, I will have a link below in these videos only on YouTube. That is all. Anywhere else that somebody is asking you to pay is 100% a scam. Please don't fall into that. Also, if you could report lawn care vlogs or anybody else using my content, that would be wonderful. Other than that, thank you so much for the support. Now, moving forward, there's quite a bit to talk about, and I just want to help people out, and that's kind of my thing. And I've been getting a lot of requests about starting a business. So let me flip my little book here. I've got some notes for you, okay? And you feel free to take notes as well if you'd like. Now, I normally don't take notes for my audio because I just don't function that way. I probably would do better and not go off on a weird tangent and train of thought. But since I wanted to get the point across, help some people out, I went ahead and took notes for this. So the first thing I would suggest if you're wanting to start a lawn business or any other business is, one, you'll have to register your business. So I'm going to encourage you not to get caught up in the plain business stage and just get right into business. But there are a few things that you want to do just to make your life easier as you are starting and growing your business. But keep in mind that these can be done over a period of time, and they don't have to be done right away. So if you want to get started, you can get started, and this is all stuff that has to be done, but it's not, you're not going to die if you don't do it right away, okay? Normally, businesses have a startup phase about 6 months to a year, and the IRS isn't going to get onto you and that kind of stuff. As long as you're tracking and you do report it, you're all good. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is register your business with whatever state you're in. It's a little bit different in every state, and though I did say what I said a minute ago, if you're in California or some of those other states that are really, really, really hard on contractors, you might want to go ahead and, you know, do the play in business part before you get into business. But here in Oklahoma, and much like the rest of the United States, it's the Wild West. Start your business and go. Okay, but right now I'm going to suggest that you get your tax ID. Okay, so that'll give you your EIN number when you register. That's so that you can pay taxes, track everything, and it helps out. The articles of organization is something you will also need because you're going to be able to want to start a business bank account so that you can get payments in the name of your business. That way it's not just like, you know, for me it'd be Kevin Hansen, you know, for a check that says doing lawn care and stuff like that. You don't want that. You want to try to get away from that. And it's a big plus later on in your business, but we'll get into that. The other things I would highly suggest you do while you're doing those things, and these are all pretty simple. They're just kind of a, you know, pain in the butt. But once it's done, it's done. Okay. So if you're not a computer guy, I know it sucks to do the computer work, but really in all of this, you can get it all done in about a day. Starting your business account, that depends on what bank you go to. That might be an all-day event because some banks suck to work with. But that's just my opinion. I've had a few experiences with different banks. Getting off point, let's get back to this. You'll want to start a Google Maps listing. That's going to be highly beneficial to you, and all you need is your EIN number, and you'll be able to go on and go online, just look up Google Maps listings, how to list for that. It's very simple. Google is going to send you a like a confirmation code in the mail, and then once you get that in about a week or two, you can confirm it, then you're on. And you're going to want to post before and after pictures, have customer testimonials on there, little video clips if you can. You can have a 10-second video clip, but you're going to want to constantly post on there, and then you're going to want to push for reviews on there. The more reviews you get, the better your business is going to do. It's also going to streamline for advertising, because nowadays the #1 way people look a company up when they need it is on their phone. It's right there. Google's the first to pop up. So definitely Google Maps listings all the way. Now you'll want to set up a Facebook business account, and that way you can do Facebook ads and stuff as well, but you also want to post pictures on there and then just use it to stay active in your community. It is a very beneficial thing for your business, especially in lawn care. A lot of our clientele is going to be an older generation, and Facebook caters towards the older generation. So that's not an insult to anybody. I'm part of that generation that actually likes Facebook, but you know, kind of bleeding into the Instagram stuff. Now, as far as Instagram for your business, I don't think Instagram's highly beneficial, but you can have that as well. You can also be on other social media platforms, and you know, it just really depends on your business and how you want to choose to direct your marketing. But I would suggest those at a minimum. The other thing you could do that's really pretty simple and easy is getting insurance for your business, which is going to be, like I said, incredibly simple. You just call a company. I personally use Hiscox. That doesn't mean that that's the company to go for. I just used it because it was at the top of Google. Look, made an easy sell for them. It's about $500 or $600 a year. And I think I've actually recently changed to a local company. So I don't want to lie to you. I don't even know who my insurance is through anymore. I ought to check that. But anyways, it's like $500 or $600. It's the same amount either way. It's a $2 million liability coverage policy, which is pretty standard in our industry for starting out. And what you're going to find out that it doesn't really do anything for you, because in lawn care it's really, really low risk. So the worst thing that's going to happen is more than likely you'll break a window, in which case you'll pay that out of pocket because it's not going to cost a whole lot. But if something were to happen that was bigger, like you ran a mower into a car, or you know, an AC unit, or someone's house, or something crazy, that would be covered under that policy. So you want to make sure that you have that just in case. That way, if something catastrophic happens, you're covered and you don't go out of business and you don't get sued. It's highly important. And don't be the contractor that if something does happen, you just ditch out. Like if you break a window, fix it. That's just scumbag crap, okay? Now, moving forward, I would suggest getting a CRM. There's a lot of CRMs out there that are highly capable of doing whatever you need. You could use QuickBooks, because QuickBooks, you're probably going to have QuickBooks to track all of your expenses and everything anyways, which is very important. You need to know your numbers on the business. And the biggest part to knowing those numbers, when people say, hey, you need to know your numbers, that's just tracking your expenses in and your expenses out, and having it all to where you can easily figure out what's what. QuickBooks is what we use. It's super easy and simple. We do have a CRM for our business as well, but that's not where we track all the expenses side. Now, we do track our income in on there with when we get a payment that comes in, because we use card on file, so it automatically tracks that for us. And then it's integrated with QuickBooks so that my wife can handle all of that, talk with our bookkeeper, and then at the end of the year with our CPA, which we talk to our CPA throughout the year. But you know, it's whatever's best for you. But a CRM, okay, is going to help you handle the onboarding your clients. So taking their name, their address, their phone number, their email, any property information that you might need, and then from there be able to send them an estimate for whatever service you're going to provide. And it's going to be a professional looking estimate that gives you the edge through the bidding process, because there's going to be a lot of people that might bid on that property. You might be the only one if you're lucky, and you have good communication skills and they can trust you, and you know, you're good at building rapport. Or when it gets to the estimate form, that might be the deciding factor for your potential customer. So they might get 2 or 3 estimates, and then you're the only one that gave them a professional one, because for some reason with any services or any service-based business, it seems like people are, there's a lot of like just, you know, crappy business owners out there, and they don't realize how the small things are what give you the edge on growing your business. So a CRM, something that I did not integrate into my business until about 3 years in, and I wish that I would have done it from day one, because it made a complete difference. Now, it can also do your invoicing. So when you have to bill them, because you need to bill your customer, you can take card on file. You can you know, track all sorts of stuff like material and different things that you might need to. But the basics are, you need scheduling, estimating, invoicing, simply onboarding the customers, and being able to charge their card on file. Now that's another thing. If you haven't in your business, or if you're planning on starting a business, just integrate having a card on file system. It's going to make life easy. Most everybody pays stuff with a card nowadays, so they're used to it. It's going to make receiving cash payments incredibly easy, and you're not going to have to chase your money. It's going to make it simple, but you have to just go with it. Don't be afraid of it. Just go for it. I promise you, it's a great decision in your business, and it's going to do really well. Now, depending on your size and where you're located, maybe you're in a rural area and it's got like the people that are weird about cards and online and stuff, you may have some pushback, but I can almost guarantee you there's going to be hardly any pushback because people are so used to paying with cards. But not only that, they don't want to receive a physical bill from you. They don't want to write a check and send it to you in the mail, where they have to take time to write out the check, put it in an envelope, write your address on the envelope, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mail. They just don't want to do that. It's too much work. We're in a society that doesn't want to have to do extra BS, so cater to that. Be that person that gives a professional service and removes the headache. It's going to make life easier. Now, moving forward, once you've got all that stuff, you're going to want to be able to advertise. If you have no budget for advertising, my suggestion would be to knock on doors, which is going to help you a lot in your business. It's going to really help you with communication skills, honing that in, being able to build rapport in a short amount of time, and just help you all around with communication skills. So there are a lot of companies, like chemical companies that do like pest treatments, or companies that do chemicals for lawns, that I have noticed in my area actually come into this market that they're not even part of yet, and that is their advertising. Their main source of advertising is just getting guys out on the ground, going door to door, and then talking about their business, trying to lock people in, and they grow very rapidly. It's a very good advertising method for them. Now, if you like a more passive approach, you don't like talking with people so much, you don't feel comfortable with that yet, another method might be flyers or door hangers, because you can just put it on the door, move on, go to the next door, put it on the door, move on, go to the next door, and just act like the mailman and walk right across the lawn. Boom, 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 knock them out. It works great. I promise you, it does work, and it is effective. Some areas in different municipalities, that's not allowed. I get that comment every time, but we're not allowed to do that in our area. I don't know what to tell you. Do what you got to do. I do things that aren't allowed all the time, and you know what? Nobody hardly ever says anything. So for me, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes. Just do what you got to do. Part of being in business is being the guy that's willing to jump out of an airplane and assemble the parachute on the way down. So grow a pair of balls, make it happen. Now, I talked about this earlier, but with your Google Maps listing, every person that you work for, you should be trying to get a 5-star review, and you should be trying to get it on Google. I promise you, it will help you grow a business. It is the way to go. So I would suggest that. You can also have banded signs that you stick in lawns. That's very effective. It's almost like little billboards in the neighborhood. Other than that, I would suggest Nextdoor app, Facebook ads, being in Facebook groups if you don't have the money to run ads, because that's, you know, a low dollar way to go. You can talk with your power base, which is everybody that you know, and try to communicate with them. Or if you're looking for a commercial in your area, I would suggest a Dream 100 plan, where you actually write down the top 100 companies or people that would highly benefit you to work with, and then you start cold calling, reaching out to them, send them a little gift basket, whatever you got to do to get on their radar so that you can give them an estimate and move forward from there. So these are just some real simple things that I would suggest if you're starting out that might really help you. If you want to know more about that, we are coming out with a course. It'll be out in the near future, and when that does happen, I'll leave a link down below, as well as in the rest of my videos.
All right, I ran into a problem here. I ran into a problem here. There's actually a big stump here, if you can see it there, and the inside's rotting out. My tire is sitting right inside that stump now. So that's the edge on the back side. There's a hole. Tire is completely free there, so I'm gonna see if I can't get it unstuck and If not, I don't have another mower with me. I guess I could leave it there and go get one, get a chain, pull it out. So we'll see. All right, so I'm thinking if I bounce on it, I might get it to come loose. We're gonna see here. All right, so now you can see just how big this thing is, and that's a huge hole in there. When I do the first cut on these crazy lawns, I take the deck all the way up to its highest setting, which is like a transport mode. That keeps me from banging my blades on stuff like this. So if you're wondering why it looks rough when I first cut, that's why. And then I come back and generally I'll cut it again. That's to smooth it out, cut it at the right height, get it looking good. And then I'm able to spot stuff like this. And this thing's pretty well rotted out. It could be busted out with a hammer pretty easy probably. Kick it out of there. I better not kick it out of there. Somebody will say I was damaging the property.
Alright, so I'd like to take a moment to just thank everybody that has supported us and subscribed to us, followed us. And between our two channels here on YouTube, Lawn Care Juggernaut, the boring channel, and on TikTok, we are over 1 million followers now. And as far as I know, we're the first channel to ever do that on social media for lawn care. So I think that's pretty awesome, and it definitely shows how much you guys are willing to go to support us. It really means a lot. We're able to do a lot of really cool things for our community, but even greater than that, even people that are outside of my direct community, we've been able to help quite a few people. So, you know, over the past year, we've helped support a few GoFundMes. This was one of the videos that I did on the Boring channel that was actually for a GoFundMe. And I believe over $20,000 have been raised to help that individual that had cancer. And, you know, that means the world to me that we were able to do that. Now, I went ahead and I put down the first, I believe, $3,000 so that I was able to help pay his rent through the hard times, through the winter. You know, a little bit of money really goes a long ways to helping a lot of people out that are in need, especially if they're in a situation where they've got, you know, cancer, or just something going on in their life. I mean, everybody's got something going on. So like at the beginning of this video, I kind of made some jokes about the property, but the reality is I know that whoever owns this was incredibly grateful. And that's enough of a gift for me to be able to do that kind of thing. But to be able to do it consistently and have it supported through our channel, it's been such an awesome blessing and a gift, and it's been a really, really cool turn for my business. Now, if you're going into business and you want to do overgrown city violation type stuff, which is another question I get asked quite a bit, how do I work with the city and do that type of thing where you're going out and cutting tall crazy stuff, I will say it looks cool on video, but for a business model, it's really not the best route to go. There's a few reasons, and one of them that I would say is probably the most important is it's going to put a lot of wear and tear not only on your equipment but your body. But you know, the stuff that I go through, I hit things all the time. Rocks, they can bend a spindle or break something, you know, chains, trash, all sorts of stuff. A lot of things that can add a lot of liability. There's a lot of risk for personal damage and personal liability when you go through stuff like this. So my suggestion to you would be to go towards reoccurring clients that are needing service versus some of these crazy clients. Look at my sticker. Yeah. Anyways, but you know, when it comes to doing city violation type stuff, if you do want to do that, it's called an abatement service, and you can sign up with your municipality if they don't have a crew of their own. Here's the downside: is it's going to be the lowest bid wins. So it's kind of a race to the bottom. And you know, if you hit something, it might be something that puts you out of business, because it could damage and put your mower out for weeks, if not permanently. So, you know, just know that there's massive liability with this type of work, and you're not able to charge very much with the city. Now, the other reason I don't work with the city anymore, although they still send me a list, which is kind of cool, because it gives me a heads up on properties that I might be able to go help somebody. The other reason is that I found out the way that they kind of work when it comes to this stuff. So what they would do is they would send out a request for bid. And then from that, you would go bid on the properties that they give you for, a list of them. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's more. They're all overgrown, they're all nasty and crazy. But from there, you would put your bid in. If you win the property, keep in mind that you have to win the property by being the lowest bid. So you win this property to be able to go out and cut this city violation lawn. From there, they'll actually bill that homeowner. And if that homeowner is not able to pay that bill, let me back up a little bit. They'll not only bill that homeowner for the cost of your service, but they'll also bill them for a paperwork processing fee, which is typically going to be between $200 or $300. Sometimes it can go more than that. So it's going to be your price for service plus that, okay? That's what the homeowner is going to have to pay. If they cannot pay that, that property is going to go get a lien put on it. And if they don't pay that lien, then it's going to go up for sale at an auction. And it'll sell at a sheriff's auction for however much they owe on taxes, plus whatever somebody bids it up to. So on one side, if there is a neglected property that's, you know, maybe it's got an absentee owner or something like that, they forgot about the house, they don't care about it. On one side, it could be beneficial because that house could then go back onto the market, somebody fixes it up, either rents it out or sells it, you know, for somebody to live in. So it could be beneficial for the community. On the other side, somebody lives in it and maybe they're in a hardship and they're not able to pay for it. So for me, the right thing to do is just go cut those things for free, right? But no, really, in all honesty, the only way I'm able to do that, like I've said, is that you guys support my videos. So it started out where the city called me and they're like, hey, do you want to do some abatement properties? I'm like, what's an abatement property? You know, I thought they said embankment. So I thought they were telling me to go cut hills. And I'm like, nah, I don't like messing with hills. They said, no, abatement. I said, well, it's an abatement. Well, an abatement's when it's overgrown. So I went ahead and put some bids in. But once I found out how it worked, that just doesn't vibe with me. Now, it might be different for you. If you're in business and you're needing to pick up work, it might be great filler work for your schedule. It might be something that you could use that income to help you out. Now, I do get some people that object to me going out and cutting this stuff and saying, hey, you know, you're taking work away from somebody. Yeah, I might be. But if they're going to go under in business because they didn't get to cut one crazy yard for a low dollar amount, they're probably going to go out of business anyways. You got to be able to go out and get work. The best work for you to get as a lawn care guy, go for doing weekly or bi-weekly properties. Take care of a property consistently for somebody that can afford it. Or if they're not able to afford it and you want to help people out, cut bi-weekly, and maybe you got a job somewhere else and cutting bi-weekly is fine for you. My suggestion is that if you get in business, you kind of get in where you can fit in. Maybe that means you're cutting properties that are of lower quality for a lower dollar amount. But as you grow, you'll understand that you can charge more. You'll build some rapport. You'll get professional. You'll have the edges with doing, you know, a professional estimate and stuff like that when you send it out. And you learn how to communicate to people. You learn how to land jobs over the phone and not have to go to the property to give them an estimate. And if you can get your phone ringing, that's when you can start raising your price. And when you can raise your price, you can actually start getting nicer equipment and everything falls into place the way it should. So it's really just kind of like beginning type work. And I figure I kind of balance it out by taking that work away from somebody, by teaching people how to actually go into business, doing it the way that they should. So, you know, it just kind of is what it is. It flows the way it flows. To me, I think the good is far outweighs the bad of what I'm doing. Now, a lot of people always find something negative in anything that you do. It doesn't matter what you do in life. And that's just That's their problem, man. They got a negative Nancy mindset. If you're going into business, you need to be an optimistic person. Like, when something bad happens, you need to know that no matter what, you're going to figure it out. You're going to make it happen. And so losing something like this, a crazy loan, is not a problem to you. If you got a problem with losing one property and that's hurting you, that's not your problem. Your problem is that you don't know how to get work. So, again, I'd like to teach you how to get work. And the biggest way to doing that is advertising. Fill up your pipeline, okay? That's your work. You're going to feel broke. Even, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. You know, you can have, this is the craziest thing. My sister-in-law, sorry, my sister-in-law, my wife was telling me a story about my father-in-law a long time ago, right? And it's probably 10 years ago. She told me about how he was a gambler. Now, I wouldn't suggest making gambling a career, but if you do, just know you're probably going to die broke, or, you know, there's no gambler that ever ends their career in some glorious fashion. It doesn't end good. It's not a good career choice, but I might be wrong. Anyways, we'll move forward. My point to the story that I wanted to say is that she told me whenever he had $30,000 in the bank, he felt broke. And that was because he wasn't able to play his game. And when you don't have enough money in your bank, you can't make the right decisions. Now, that dollar amount's going to be different for anybody at different stages. But, you know, you'll find out in business that if you don't have X amount in your bank, you're going to feel broke. And you're going to feel like you're desperate and you have to make bad decisions and you have to take on work that you don't want to, or you don't feel as good for your business. Now, the way you combat that is just by filling up your pipeline, making sure there's enough new work coming in that you're not stressed about income because you have enough cash flow coming in. So that's the other side, is that you want enough new work coming in, but you need it to be at the right dollar price, the right price, because you can work all day for, you know, a really low amount. Don't go into business thinking cutting lawns for $20 or $30 is the route to go. It's not. You're going to go out of business. If you want to go into business cutting lawns free, it will not work for you. Okay? I am the exception. It is very, very crazy to me that I've built a business now and my business model is cutting lawns for free. If I were to tell myself that, or anybody else that in the past, and say, hey, I'm going to be a business and I'm not a nonprofit, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to cut lawns and I'm going to do it for free and I'm going to make income and I'm going to be able to pay for all my family's needs and be able to do it a lot, I would have been like, no, you're lying. Because it hadn't been proven. Now I'm the exception. There are a few other exceptions that have followed my model, but that doesn't mean everybody's going to be able to do it. So my suggestion is, if you go into business, there is another proven route, and that's to charge the amount that you need to. Get the amount of work that you need to. Stay busy and stay consistent, and you're going to make it happen. It's going to pop for you. It's going to do really well. It is much easier to grow a legitimate lawn business than it is to grow a YouTube business, if you want to go that route too, but, you know, that's all up to you. And for the people out there that are like, oh, you make millions on mowing. No, I don't. And, oh, you make money off of mowing video, posting your videos online. Yeah, there's a lot of other videos that I can post on YouTube and make way more amount of money and less amount of time. So, God, I hate that argument. It's so dumb to me. And to me, it's like something that just, you know, yeah, everybody says something negative. It doesn't matter. It'll happen in your lawn business too. You'll have people in your family that doubt you. You'll have friends that doubt you. They'll go, oh, that's a cute business you got, you know, or, oh, you mow lawns, whatever. But the reality is you can make more income mowing lawns and having a legitimate lawn business than most people will probably make at their factory job or anything else. And you can do it as a solo operator, being your own boss, going out on your own schedule. Now, when I say your own schedule, don't feel like you can make your own schedule. You still have to adhere to, I have to be at these properties this week, at this time, this day. You need to knock that out, but you can create your own schedule. And if you have to take a day off, you can. And you don't have to do anything but communicate with your clients to do so. Versus, I remember when I was at a factory, man, if I wanted a day off, they give you PTOs, you know, paid time off. I'd get rejected and stuff. You know, your vacation would get rejected. You're like, come on, man. Just trying to take a day off because I got to get this, and this done in my life. So, you know, there are some flexibilities to being a business owner. Now, having said that, you're going to work a lot more hours than you probably would at a payroll job, and you're going to be thinking about it whether you're at work or not, which I know some people do that already with a payroll job, but you know, it's a little bit different in business, and you'll probably be stressed at times because you're worried about this or that, or you haven't come across a problem yet. And to you, it's this new, fresh, crazy problem, and you're really worried about it, and you're kind of stressing about it. But as you grow your business and you get into each year, that problem you had last year is going to be nothing to you the next year. And it's going to get to be this thing where you want new, fresh problems because that means you're growing. And when you're growing, you're making more money. You're going to be spending a lot more money on expenses. You're going to have, you know, new mower payments or new equipment payments and, you know, payroll and everything else that comes along with growing. But you're going to have bigger problems that you had before. And, you know, that's just going to mean that you're advancing your career. So it's a good thing. Never feel bad about growing the business, and don't feel bad about these petty problems, and stop getting caught up in problems that you see online. Like if you're serious about business and you don't want to just play business, now's the time to start too. Okay, that whether that means start by getting your your LLC formed or whatever, however you want to set it up, or doing the things that I'd said earlier in this video to get started. You can do all of that now before the spring breaks. That way you're ready to go in the spring. You can get your marketing material now so that you're ready to go in the spring. Now's the time to start. Otherwise, you're going to put it off for a year, and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to start this thing, and then you're going to put it off again. If you want to do it, just go for it. It doesn't matter what it is. Just go for it. Build a plan now. Build a plan, okay, and actually have action points. Like if I want to do this, I need to do this, this, and this to make that happen. It's kind of like when you make your goals. Some people will write, I want to lose 20 pounds. Well, what do you got to do to lose 20 pounds? I want to lose 20 pounds by when? What's your date? That's how you would write a goal. You would say, I want to do X by X. I want to do this by this certain date. And then you're going to write the action plans, the action items. What are the key indicators for me to get to that? If I don't do those things, I will never get there, right? So that's what you want to do for starting your business or growing your business or whatever you might want to do. So if you want to make 50,000 more, well, what's that actually mean? Well, if you run a 50% profit business, by the way, if you're going to be a lawn business, more than likely you're going to be in the range of about 50% profit, which is pretty decent. So, I mean, you might be 30 to 50, but shoot for that 50% profit margin. It's totally doable, especially when you're small and you don't have a bunch of massive expenses. So if you want to make $50,000 this year and you have a 50% profit margin, that means you need to make $100,000 in sales. Now, what do you have to do to have $100,000 in sales? How many clients do you have to have? What size of properties? Because the size of property is going to dictate how much you're charging, right? So you need to do X amount of properties in this location on this frequency, you know, how often, to make this much income. I'm going to have these expenses. I'm going to have this type of mower. So if I don't have that right away, so you're starting with the push mower, but you want to get there, what do you have to do to get to that goal? So if you want to get a bigger mower, what do I have to do to purchase this mower? I hope those stimulate good conversation for you in your head.
Someone's going to say, you're tearing up the mower, doing this kind of work or popping wheelies. I bought this mower to be destroyed. I'm going to take it to the grave. All right, let's go ahead and get into the weed eating.
All right, I don't know what was on my face. Your guess is as good as mine. I think it was a sunflower seed, but whatever, right? I just roll with it, man. Everything's chaotic, and you know, some people would be insecure about putting that out there. Oh, I don't want to be seen a certain way. It is what it is. So, moving forward, as far as questions I commonly get about the business, another one is, hey, what equipment do I have to have? What brand should I get? What truck's the best? And to me, what brand and all that stuff, none of that matters. And what equipment you have, use what you got. Get out there and get started. Just make it happen. If you're going to do it, do it. Figure it out. I mean, I started with $100. I didn't have enough to get the equipment I wanted. I found stuff on the side of the road and fixed it. I went to pawn shops and bought stuff. At one point in time, I traded service for a crappy weed eater from a neighbor that it didn't fix, or it didn't work, so I fixed it. And it just make it happen, right? What brand? Man, if you're getting a top name brand, they're probably going to be good. If you can't afford that right away, don't worry. Just do what you got to do. Create the income, and your business will buy everything you could have ever dreamed of getting for your business. It's just going to happen. Create enough cash flow in your business that all those problems are money problems. They just go away with more income. Okay? You're going to make a portion of what you make, and your business is going to make a portion of what you make. The best way to grow your business is take a small amount of income as you possibly can for the first couple of years and put all of that money back into the business. Just keep investing it. Let the business take the money. You'll get the equipment. You put money into advertising. Never neglect advertising. Don't put equipment over advertising. Here's the thing. You go out and you spend, $20,000 in mowers and get $5,000 in accessories and handheld equipment and all this stuff, and you go out and buy a $50,000 truck and a $10,000 trailer. That's the guy going out of business. Because you know what they probably didn't budget into that? Marketing. Just getting the name out for their business. They probably don't know how to sell a job. Like if you're leaving a job and you got some income coming from that, or you're taking some money from your 401k or whatever it might be, do not neglect marketing in your budget. When you write your business plan, which is incredibly important, make a business plan. It can be super simple, but you need to make a plan. Like I said, figure out how much you need to make. Don't neglect marketing. Make sure that's an important part of it. As far as weed eaters and stuff, I like using the attachment series weed eaters that except, by attachment, what I mean is I can actually pull the front half of my trimmer off and put on hedge trimmers. I can use a pull saw. There's a lot of benefits to having a trimmer like that. And I've got multiple trimmers. You always need redundancy. That's going to be something you find out as you grow, because downtime is like very, very expensive. One, because if you can't get to all the jobs, you're not going to bring in the income. Two, if you don't get to all the jobs, you might lose some jobs because people aren't willing to wait. You're there to remove their headaches. Keep that in mind. You're there to take all of that stress away. And what they don't want to worry about is their lawn looking like crap. So, as far as like, how often should I cut the lawn? You should be coming at a frequency that it looks like it never needs cut. Okay? I would suggest weekly. Pretty much everywhere is weekly. Somewhere down south, you might cut bi-weekly part of the year. Maybe in the beginning of the spring, like here, I could go from bi-weekly into weekly, back into bi-weekly sometimes, depending on the property. Most of them I just start weekly and go all the way through the season as weekly. But if you need to ramp up and ramp down, that's something that I used to do. Really just build a business around your area. Another thing I would highly suggest, let me go ahead and finish with the mowers and stuff. I started with a push mower. It didn't have a bag on it. You can get a push mower. You can get, for me, the ideal situation for residential properties that are like this, not this high, but this property size that are cut on a frequent level, is a 36-inch mower, a 60-inch mower, 2 trimmers, 2 backpack blowers, pull saw, and hedge trimmers. You can have an attachment series that goes on your weed eater and a smaller pair of hedge trimmers as well. If they've got smaller ornamental bushes, it's easier to cut them with those smaller trimmers. But that setup right there, you're golden. You've got redundancy with the equipment. You do need backups of that 36 and that 60 if you can, but if you don't have it, it's fine, because if that 60-inch goes down, you can still cut all those properties with the 36. If the 36 goes down, that's the one you really need to have a backup of, because you don't want to be out there push mowing those properties if you have to. If your backup's a push mower, that's fine. It'll get it done while you have to. But ideally, 60-inch, 36-inch mower, it doesn't matter what brand, as long as they are capable of doing the work, commercial or residential, it doesn't matter. Just get what you can get starting out, and you'll work your way into nicer equipment, okay? Don't get caught up on that stuff. Do I get a Ford or do I get a Chevy? Doesn't matter. Just stop that argument. It's childish, it's petty, it's playing business, it's not being business. I'm planning for the best stuff. Well, you might run into analysis paralysis where you're planning all this stuff and you don't take action. Take action. Take action. Take leaps. Stop being scared. Stop being, I'm not going to get explicit on here, but you get my point. Now, I don't know what I was talking about a minute ago. I was going to get on to a really good topic. I better pause this and go back and listen. And magically, with no delay to you, I'm back. Now, what I was going to say is I would highly suggest having a marketing plan that's also built around your schedule for the year, your service calendar. So a service calendar and a marketing calendar. If you have a service calendar, you know what services you're going to provide, whether that's, lawn service, spring cleanups, leaf removal, maybe you're going to do some power washing, different things like that, overseeding, aeration, all that stuff, right? There's a ton of different services you can provide. You want to pick a few of them and just go with those, and then as you grow, you can add stuff in and this and that. But really, the smaller you can hone that, the more money you're going to make, the more profitable you're going to be if you can hone in a few projects that you're really, really good at, and you just add in a few that are your big money makers that you're really good at advertising for and you can fill your schedule with. So I wouldn't go out, I'm doing everything, which in the very beginning you might be doing that just to fill the schedule because you have to. Like you might find yourself going into business doing lawn care, but you feel like a handyman because you're doing all this other stuff just to keep yourself busy. That's okay. You got to do what you got to do in the beginning, but as you grow, you're going to find it a lot more profitable to just do one specific project. And it might be that you start out a lawn business and end up becoming a house painter. You never know. There are some weird things that happen in business because you're going to evolve and you're going to find out where you're best utilizing your time and what service you like providing and all of that stuff. Because in the beginning, you may not know, okay? But having a service calendar is going to allow you to have a good marketing calendar. And that's something I never hear any guys talk about online because I don't want to put anybody out there, man, but sometimes guys out there talking about business aren't in business or haven't really been in business. They were in business or starting a business and then became more of a social media person. Like for me, now I'm social media. I'm out here doing lawn care on videos, but now my business is actually making videos, which is crazy. But it didn't used to look like that for years, almost 10 years now. I've been in the lawn business, so my points to you and my information to you is valid. You can grow a successful business. You can make $10,000 a month as a solo operator, no problem, dragging $10,000 a month in revenue. I guarantee you, I've done it 4 years. You can do it. My highest month, we made $20,000 in revenue. You can do that consistently as well. So, buy all this information that I'm giving you to you 100% free on here. You don't have to buy a course, although when I do make a course, it will be more in depth, and that way you can see it. And if you're a person like me that's like, hey, I love it. I know you're passing me the keys to the kingdom here, but if you could just give me the information to put the key in the damn lock, that would really help. So that you can skip the process, right? But my point is that I've gone through the battles, so I feel like I can talk about them, which I know a lot of people, they get on and they talk about business as their first year, second year, and they're vlogging about it, and they're like, yeah, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, you don't know yet, buddy. But, some people do, so I'm not out to judge either. I'm not trashing anybody. There are a lot of really, really good people out there on social media pumping out a lot of good information, and I've seen them, and I've watched a lot of them for years, and I've watched them grow, and I've watched their information change as they grew. And so, I just want to let you know that there is good information out there, and you don't have to pay anybody for a course. That is something I would say as well. But when you do, what you are doing is you are actually skipping the process of the pain of learning and trying to find it and weed out what's good for you and this and that, right? But even when you take any kind of information, you have to take what's good, figure out a way to consume what's good and beneficial for you, consume it, implement it, and throw the rest away. Just get it out of there. If it's not good for you, just throw that shit away. Ooh, I'm going to have to go back and fix that. My bad. Anyways, just make it happen for business, right? Now, that goes with everything. And I would highly suggest that you also continue to educate yourself. A big part of being in business is that you feel like, oh, I'm learning about the business and, you know, I can just do my thing. All I got to do is mow lawns. No, you need to actually educate yourself. One of the most beneficial things that you can do for yourself is to download Audible. Okay? And I'm not an affiliate or anything like that with Audible. I'm not paid to advertise them, but it's one of the things that actually truly helped me in my business was downloading Audible and then starting to listen to either business books or self-help books while working. And then ultimately it led to me listening to the Bible, which completely changed my life. I would highly suggest you reading that too, but I don't want to make you run off and click off the video because of that. But it's something that helped me. And even if you go into that book, listening to it as a business book or a self-help book, which it and was 100% is, it 100% is a book about money. It's a book about self-help and making yourself a better person and being a better person. That stuff's going to help you, okay? Other books I would highly suggest. It's dangerous to listen to a few of them because you might go so far in depth that you actually kind of lose yourself. But Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone was a great book. You know, Profit First was a good book, although there's some really good YouTube videos that are like 30 minutes long that can avoid you listening to that whole book. I really liked, I listened to books that were about how to reprogram your brain, how it's like a computer. I don't know the name of it offhand. There's a book called, dang it, you know, I can't remember at the moment, but it's Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. That's a wonderful book. The EMyth is a great book. There's an EMyth for landscapers as well. But my point there is that there's a lot of good information, a lot of good books. Oh, Richest Man in Babylon is a wonderful book as well. You know, obviously it's talking about money and investing, and I found that to be a highly beneficial book for myself, and it was like 4 hours, so you can listen to it in one day while you're out working. It's no big deal. You might even listen to it twice, which I've listened to that book multiple times. The other thing I would suggest is that when you listen to books, listen to them and watch what your mind does, because you're going to find out that whenever you're listening to something, your mind will fade in and out. Try to guide your mind to focusing on what you're trying to learn there and staying focused. Being able to retain your focus and control that is going to be key to you gaining more information and being able to grow more. And then when you listen to a book, implement what's in the book. If it applies to what you're wanting to do, implement it. Don't just listen to it. Listening doesn't help. Don't be an asshole. Don't be somebody that just takes information and doesn't apply it. Like, apply it. Make it happen for you, and it's going to benefit you. You can also listen to podcasts too. Try not to gear towards entertainment as much as you are gearing towards stuff that's beneficial to you. Gear towards information. And I know some of it feels like a lecture, or it's not that fun to listen to, or whatever it might be. But that's what you want to do. Try to stay away from like listening to Twilight and stuff, or whatever you're into, or Harry Potter series. It's just not going to help you out in business or, you know, making income. It might be entertaining. You might really enjoy it. It might be a nice break, but you're probably going to want to put some information in there about whatever you're wanting to grow in. So if you're wanting to grow in being having a good business, probably some business books, probably some self-help books, probably some books on sales, probably, you know, if you want to grow your marriage and make sure you have a healthy marriage, probably listen to some marriage books, you know, some what is that one book? The 5 Love Languages. That's a pretty good book. You know, there's great marriage books out there though. A lot of people don't like Jordan Peterson. I don't really get that, but I would also suggest Jordan Peterson. His books and lectures on YouTube that are all 100% free. You know, his book's not free, but his lectures on YouTube that you can find, they're great. And if you don't like the political side of crap, stay away from the political side. That's part of, you know, figuring out how to digest information so that it applies to you and helps you and benefits your life, and throw away the garbage. The problem is we're spoon-fed garbage all the time. Like, that's what we've learned to consume. We think that's, you know, like if you're looking at diet, you know, you're eating garbage all the damn time. Well, it's the same way when you turn on your TV. Think of it that same way. You're consuming that into your body. Whatever you listen to is what you're consuming. So if it's crap for you, get rid of it. Stop listening to it, you know what I mean? And get hyper-focused on, if you have a mentor that helps you out, consume that information. And then once you've outgrown it, and that's okay. You can always come back, or you can go, yeah, well, I've outgrown that. And if you're starting a business, you may outgrow the information that I'm giving, because I give a lot of really basic information for business, stuff that anybody can consume, start up and apply. I'd love to go in depth, but people don't like listening to it, and that's okay. So if you outgrow me, that's totally cool too, man. Don't waste your time watching really, really long lawn mowing videos unless it benefits you. And if you just watch me because of entertainment and you like it, I appreciate you. You are awesome. And I get a ton of people that send me pictures of their cats watching my videos, and their animals watching my videos, and their kids watching my videos. I want to say thank you for that. To me, that's pretty cool that, I mean, not only, they're watching it and their cat's watching it, but the fact that they would take time to reach out to me and just say, hey, I really appreciate your videos. And for whatever reason, it resonates with you. So, I mean, that's what makes this cool. Because I get a lot of negativity, I mean, I get people that bash it and stuff. That's totally fine. It's understandable. Somebody's always going to hate on something, whatever you do in life, right? But all the support, like, as far as anybody I've ever seen on YouTube, my comment section on both my channels is, just incredibly positive. And I always feel good when I read my comments. Sometimes it's easy to read through the comments and feel pretty good, and then you get to that one negative comment and you're like, oh man, that hit hard. But if it hits hard to you, it's probably because there's some truth in it, and I have to go, okay, I got to grow out of that. What's this issue that what's the deep down core issue that I got to grow out of here? Why is that bothering me? Because it shouldn't. Somebody wants to get online and talk crap on you, whether they're trolling or trying to be serious or just pissed off about their own life. Why should that matter to me? It doesn't. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm just like anybody else. I get depressed and I get down. Like, when I was shooting this video, I was actually down. So I'll get down and I'll get quiet and I don't say stuff. But I still go out and I work and I do what I have to. And, that's part of life and work, is going out and doing stuff when you don't want to do it. Man, I don't want to make a video sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel good. Sometimes I don't feel like I can say something. Like, that's a big part of on this channel why I don't put out content more. I get a lot of people that love my content, and they even go to like my parents' channel. By the way, big shout out to them, Cabin on the Hill. If you want to watch their videos, there's actually some really good power washing videos. I went down there and taught him how to make videos and helped my dad with him, editing and stuff like that. So they're doing awesome stuff, by the way. But and I make surprise visits and show up in their channel all the time. So if you do want to check them out, it's Cabin on the Hill. I would love it if you go over there and subscribe. It would mean a lot. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you for doing that, by the way. But, I got off track what I was talking about. Guess it didn't really matter. Oh, yeah, sometimes I just don't feel like doing the voiceovers. I feel like I'm not into it, or I don't have anything unique to say to you, or I don't want to repeat the same thing over and over. So I'll wait until I have inspiration, or like right now, I feel good. I feel like I can actually say something and it means something. And I'm not just repeating the same thing over and over. And I'm not wasting my time and your time, because your time is incredibly valuable to me. I put a lot of time into editing the videos so that they're smooth and they're enjoyable to watch. And because to me, it's very important. I want you to enjoy the content. And the results have shown. You should do. It's the same as my business. I wanted my business to do good, so I put in the time, I put in the work, I put in the effort. And if you are watching and you made it this far, I just want to let you know you're awesome. I used to do a word or phrase of the day where I would say something, and the people that have watched it up to this point put it down in the comments. And it's been a long time since I've done it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. So if you've made it this far, go ahead and comment down below. Do Cabin on the Hill, and that'll be the phrase of the day. Alright, I got to take a second to show you this, because a lot of people ask about it. Spiders, snakes, this and that. I'm going to show you. Whenever I do a job like this, there are thousands of spiders this size on the property. Now, I don't really know. I just call them a wolf spider. I don't know what that is there. But you can see just how big he is. I'm not sure. Let's get real close. Ah!
Anyways, it's inevitable that I accidentally kill hundreds of them while I'm cutting, you know, the mowers, the weed eater, the blower, all that stuff. Probably tears them up, but I don't ever go out of my way to kill anything. It's just, it's an unfortunate part of the job that things do die. So anyways, little insect gets to be a little insect. They leave me alone. I've been doing this for years. I've never been bitten. I forgot to hit all that with the mower, so that's coming. Handling that really well. I'm cutting trees that are probably like this. I want to take a moment to be very clear. I do not care one bit about that mower. I'm going to absolutely destroy it on this channel, and I bought it for your entertainment. Obviously, you don't want to waste the money, but the channel made a profit, and I was able to make an investment. We're going to destroy it, see what it can do. Man, this is nothing. Just wait until you see what's next. Well, we got our first break. Not sure what it is. I figured it out. Didn't take but a second. All you guys tell me I'm gonna break it. I just want to show you. I don't care about this mower. My Ferris, yeah. My X-Mark, I'm ready to see it die, but yeah. This, little spring popped off. No biggie. Just gonna say that engine is really hot. I got the spring on the other side. Grabbing it on this side, it's really, really loose. So the spring itself needs replaced. Good thing I found it now, because I could actually do that by hand if I wanted. The spring goes from there to an idler pulley on that side. Back to donuts.
76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 64% of Americans that have businesses break even or lose money. Most people don't have any money and have accepted the fact that they don't have any money. They don't have any leftover money. They're fearful of money constantly. They overspend. They don't know how to produce money. They definitely don't know how to multiply it. The land of the brave and the home of the free, it's not even close to the truth.
It's just important for people to understand that complaining has no value. And if you complain about not having enough money, work more. If you complain about not having work-life balance, spend more time on vacationing and your family. It's super simple. Let your actions dictate instead of sitting there and feeling like you're not in control.
Poor people say, I can't afford it, I can't do that, I don't have time. It's an escape, you know what I mean? It's easy to say I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know, when you could go to the gym, but no, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
Money doesn't have value, right? And this is an important thing that most people don't immediately understand, is that money itself doesn't have value. Money is a vector for transmitting value. It's how you express value. But the value isn't in the money, it's in the product or service you bought with it, and it's in the labor you gave in order to acquire it in the first place. That's where the value comes from. There's nothing intrinsically valuable in the money.
People are stunningly accepting of anything if they actually believe that's the purest form of it. I think I'd be less acceptable if I hedged. I really do. People will accept you. People accept everything. Just be you. Be you, and clearly people react. When you're trying to fake something and you've got bad intent, well then that's visceral and we hate. But I actually think we don't give love to the person that actually knows they have it and they're trying to fake it to conform. Hence why I won't adjust to this market all the way, because I don't think I'll be respected. I know what my intent is, so why would I be scared? I want to build the biggest building in town. That's who I am. And you know how I want to do that? By building the biggest building in town. And a lot of people want to build the biggest building in town, and you know how they want to do it? By tearing everybody else's building down.
Poverty is passed on. It's taught in your families. And middle class is taught in families. And so the people right now who are sitting at home, who are struggling financially or worried about money or unhappy, they may be making a lot of money, but unhappy with what they're doing, it was probably taught to you. You know, your super ego was taught, get a job, work hard, or you'll never be rich, or the rich are evil, or whatever.
And until you change your mindset,
Correct.
Money won't help you, right?
Correct.
And we see that with people that win the lottery, people that make more money, they still have the same problems.
Right.
Because they have that poor man's soul.
Right. If you're poor, you'll always be poor.
That's really hard for people to understand.
Yeah, the money will disappear that fast. Just like most pro athletes, they make millions of dollars, and but 65% are bankrupt 5 years later. It's because they come from poor families. Now you tell them that, they get very angry at you. It's not, it's the rich fault. It's you guys ripped me off and government ripped me off. But unfortunately, what Mr. Lipton was saying, it's passed down genetically. That's the frightening thing.
And it's interesting when you commit to something, little gifts just start automatically showing up. It's a phenomenal thing. It's happened my whole career. When I fully commit, somebody will bring me something.
Okay.
And then look, then keep your eyes open. And by the way, the package may come wrapped in a package you weren't thinking about.
Hard work.
Or like a voice, or like a person, or you know, maybe from a different direction than you thought, or an offering where you're like, you read something about this and that's not the thing. Like all throughout my career, it's come in weird kind of ways. If you ask for help and somebody shows up at the door, maybe invite them in.
Okay.
Regardless of what the packaging is or what you've heard about it or whatever. That's really been beneficial to me.
Okay.
How old are you?
44.
I'm 40. Do you know how young we feel? When you were 26, did you ever think that this is what 44 felt like?
No.
You thought that was finished?
Yeah.
How old are you? Like, you think a 40-year-old, like, when I was 25 years old, I thought a 40-year-old was finished. I don't even feel like I'm starting. Right?
Yeah, but when I was 26, I was in a rush.
I understand.
And all of those guys and girls on the streets last night, when you say that to them, like their face kind of goes blank, because all the stuff they watch, MTV, music videos, it's all about the bling now, and the this now, and the this now.
You know, and MTV's tamed. You start following people on Instagram, and it's a disaster. They're all pushing, like, you know, it's all about champagne and private planes, and you can get it too, and everybody's falling for it. So I'm coming out, and first of all, I want to be historically correct. Nobody in 100 years is going to watch that video and say that I was full of crap. I like that, right? Number two, I want my legend to grow. I'm always fascinated by politicians and world figures. Like Winston Churchill, his brain continues to grow, right? I want that. When I'm dead, I want to be in the ground at peace knowing my legend's growing. Like, I want that. I want that in the business world. And so I'm giving real advice, and real advice looks like this. When you're 19 and you can spend 7 full years learning your craft, meeting people that are mentors, being patient, and you wake up and you're 26 years old, you have your entire life in front of you, and you've done great foundational work to go on and then be successful.
You know, I have bad luck too. I've had financial crashes. I've had people stab me in the back, but they're all good because I grow from it. That's spirituality.
Right.
You know, people who are afraid of making mistakes, like they teach in school, they don't ever grow. Because spirituality is there's good and there's bad, there's right and there's wrong, there's up and there's down. Most people only want to be right. They only want to be positive. Well, you can't have that. That's not reality. And the average person, the reason they're poor is they haven't failed. You know, they play it so safe. They haven't made any mistakes like they taught in school. That means they don't learn anything. That's why the school system's actually fundamentally corrupt. It's anti-education.
Right.
Don't make mistakes and don't ask for help. And if I didn't ask for help, I have my accountants, my attorneys, my bankers, and all that. You know, I go into business like a rugby team. You know, boom, boom, and we kick butt. But the average guy is standing there, oh, I'm an A student, I'm going to do this all on myself, and a bunch of rugby players run you over, and you go, well, they're not playing fair. Yeah, well, you're playing stupid. You should have a team. You should have accountants, attorneys, and bankers, and all that stuff. But that's not the game I want to play. I said, then don't play the game. You know, the game of business is played with accountants, attorneys, bankers, hate to say it, politicians. You know, you got to know the game.
Like, I don't want to hustle. I want to prosper. I don't want to grind. I want to create a machine that monetizes. You know, I'm not shameful of money. I want money. I want a lot of money. I want to give money away. I want to raise a lot of money. And you can't do that if you're broke.
Can you believe I did all that work and I forgot this little itty bitty bank? Oh. Normally I pull out the trimmers. So man, that one, it ain't gonna matter. Well, what do you think of that? It's actually a pretty charming little house and everything's cut and cleaned up. We ended up with a lot more grass clippings than I anticipated. This would have been a good one to tarp them and haul them away, but I'm not going to do it. If you are in business and you're tackling something like this and it's the first time cut, I would suggest cutting it like this, cutting it multiple times. You can bag if that's in the deal, but if it's not, I wouldn't do it. I would cut it, clean it up pretty quick and easy like I did, and then from there sign them on with a weekly service. They want a weekly service. When you come back, each time you cut it, it's going to clean up and look really nice and really sharp. So I know some of you guys like bagging, and if you're wanting a channel that does bagging, you're at the wrong place. I did invest in a bagger system, but you're not going to see it till leaf season. So yeah, there's that little sneak peek, I guess. So it came out looking beautiful, and I just want to say thank you to all you guys that support the channel. It really means a lot to me, and you know, by leaving a comment and subscribing to the channel if you're not, and giving it a thumbs up, it goes a long ways to allow me to do this and to help more people. So not only do we help whoever owns this, which, you know, I made a joke in the beginning, but I don't know who owns this. They might be on hard times, it might be abandoned, it might be somebody that got an investment property and they got in over their head. Maybe they got an investment property and COVID hit and they lost their job and they weren't able to do what they needed to do to flip it. Who knows? Who knows? But I saved somebody, you know, about $400 or $500 just now. Especially if the city would have came in. Those bills are pricey. So yes, I did it for free because I didn't send out an invoice. You need to chill out if you're that person. If you're watching this, hey, I wish you the best too. Even the people that leave negative comments on here, I wish them the best. And I say that oftentimes when you see me in the comments, I might come back with a little playful comment to some people. But when I say I wish you the best, that's actually me saying, hey, I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with you. I feel that it's at a loss. This is if you're arguing with me. I feel that it's at a loss and that you're not at the maturity level to have a legitimate conversation. I wish you the best in your growth and your happiness in life. And when you're ready to come back around, I will be ready as well. So that's my opinion. That's how I handle some of that hate and criticism. And then the other thing is all the positivity. That really goes a long ways to help me out. So when you guys do leave a positive comment, it does boost me back up, because man, some of those, it just feels like you're getting punched in the face. But that's all right. That's all right. Everybody goes through the flows, man. Not everything's on a high point. Sometimes you go through a low point. In fact, I got quiet on the channel. Did you guys notice? It's because I was in a low point. I felt like I had nothing to say that could further your life and bring you positivity. Didn't mean I was not working. It means I got quiet. I want to wait until I have something to say to you. You know, people think I talk a lot. I'm actually a really pretty quiet dude. I stayed quiet for a long time until I felt like I had something to say. All that said, thank you so much for the support. You guys are awesome. You stay in there and stay supportive. I'll stay in here and keep working. We'll see if we can't help some people.